welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into a world where algorithms meet altruism, data meets donations. We're talking AI in the nonprofit sector. And you want to know how this tech, so often associated with, big corporations, is actually being used for good. So let's jump right in.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see how nonprofits are really going beyond just automating tasks with AI. They're finding ways to use it to, make a real difference.
So it's not just replacing, filing cabinets with algorithms.
Exactly.
That's an example of, that real tangible difference you're talking about.
Okay, so there's the story of a small literacy nonprofit. They were really struggling to personalize learning for their students because they had such a wide range of needs, learning styles, the whole thing. But then they integrated AI into their platform. And it was like suddenly they were able to tailor lesson plans and learning materials to each student's pace and strengths, individually.
Yeah. Wow.
It was a game changer.
So they basically created an AI tutor for each student?
You could say that. And the results were really remarkable. I mean, they saw big improvements in student engagement and learning outcomes. Yeah, it's a powerful example of how AI can tackle these really human challenges,
That's what I love about this whole topic. It's not just about the tech itself.
Right.
It's about the human impact.
Yeah.
Speaking of impact, the source material we have mentions this ITCUS framework for measuring how effective AI is.
Yes.
Can you break that down for us?
Absolutely. So ITCUS stands for Individual, Target Group, Communities, Organizations, and Society.
Okay.
It's basically a way to analyze the ripple effect of a nonprofit's work. How far does the impact reach?
So it's looking at the big picture, not just the immediate result.
Exactly. So at the individual level, you might look at, for example, how AI helped those students at the literacy nonprofit improve their reading scores.
Gotcha.
At the target group level, you could see if those improvements actually led to higher graduation rates for, that specific group of students. And then you zoom out even further, you look at how those changes affect the entire community. Does it lead to more employment or civic engagement, things like that? And you keep going up to the level of organizations and even society as a whole.
It's I don't know if you've ever seen those nature documentaries where they show how a tiny change in one part of the ecosystem can have these massive effects throughout the whole system.
Yeah, it's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And AI can help nonprofits get the data they need to understand these complex ripple effects and make better decisions.
This is all really fascinating. But I have to admit, whenever I hear about, AI doing all these amazing things, there's a part of me that wonders, what's the catch?
Right.
Is there, a downside to all this?
Yeah, it's a good question. And the truth is, any powerful tool can be misused. In fact, one of the sources we have actually brings up some really interesting points about the potential risks of relying too much on AI.
Oh, okay. Can you give us an example?
Sure. One concern is that nonprofits might get so focused on the efficiency of AI that they lose sight of the human side of their work. The source uses this example of a mental health hotline.
Okay.
They started using AI to triage calls and direct people to the right resources.
Which sounds like a good thing, right?
Yeah.
More efficient, faster response times.
Yeah, on the surface, yes.
Uh-huh.
But what they found was that, some people felt dehumanized by the process. They wanted that human connection, to talk to a real person, feel heard and understood, especially when they're calling a hotline in a crisis. So the organization had to kind of go back and adjust their approach, find that balance between AI and human interaction.
So it's a reminder that AI should be there to support human compassion, not replace it.
Exactly. And that actually brings up another important point. One of the source articles really highlights how important it is to understand the limitations of AI.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's crucial to remember that AI systems are only as good as the data they're trained on. And that data can reflect, existing biases or inequalities in the world.
It's not just a matter of plugging in some AI and then expecting it to, solve all our problems.
Right.
We need to really think about how we use it.
Yeah.
And what data we feed it.
Exactly. And that, that thoughtfulness also extends to the whole organization. Nonprofits need to think about how AI fits into their overall strategy, their mission.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of, cool new tech.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember why the organization actually exists in the first place.
Right.
Speaking of organizational strategy, one area that I think sometimes gets overlooked is management. How can AI help nonprofits run more smoothly, more effectively, behind the scenes?
Oh, that's a really good point. AI can actually play a big role in improving like all sorts of management stuff.
Okay.
So for instance, let's think about board governance.
Okay, governance. I'll admit, that doesn't sound like the most thrilling topic.
Right.
What does AI have to do with, like, board meetings and strategic planning?
Well, imagine this. Instead of relying on gut feelings or just, limited data, board members could have these AI-powered dashboards,
Okay.
giving them real-time insights into the organization's performance, like donor trends, community needs, all that.
Mhm.
And they can actually use all that information to make much more informed decisions about how to allocate resources, programs, strategy, the whole thing.
So it's kind of like giving the board, like, superpowers
Yeah.
to see the big picture and make data-driven decisions.
Exactly. And it's not just about the board either. AI can totally change financial management. Think about all that time spent on manual data entry, tracking expenses, all the reports.
Ugh, spreadsheets. Not my favorite part of nonprofit work.
Right. But AI can automate a lot of that tedious stuff, freeing up staff to focus on more strategic things,
Okay.
more impactful activities. Plus, it reduces human error, which can be like a really big deal when you're dealing with limited resources, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like having an AI assistant to take care of all the financial stuff.
Yeah.
But can AI actually do more than just, like, crunch numbers?
Oh, yeah.
Can it actually help nonprofits make, like, smarter financial decisions?
For sure. AI can analyze historical financial data, find patterns that we might not even notice. It can help predict future funding trends, optimize fundraising strategies, things like that. So nonprofits can make better choices about where to invest their money.
So it's not just about saving time and reducing errors.
No.
It's about using data to make strategic decisions.
Exactly. And when it comes to resources, we can't forget about, like, the most important one.
You're talking about people.
Yes, human resources. AI can actually streamline the whole recruitment process, match volunteers with the right opportunities, even personalize training programs for staff.
It's interesting. I could see how AI could really help nonprofits,
Yeah,
attract and keep good people, both staff and volunteers.
absolutely. And it goes beyond just finding and keeping people. AI can also help create a more positive work environment. Imagine AI-powered tools that can analyze employee feedback, figure out areas for improvement, and even suggest ways to improve communication and collaboration.
It's like having, like, an AI consultant to help build a stronger, more productive team.
Exactly. And all of that leads to a more effective, more impactful organization as a whole.
This has been so insightful. It's clear that AI has the potential to, like, transform how nonprofits work on so many levels. But,
Yeah.
as we think about this future with AI playing such a big role in the nonprofit world, I can't help but think about the people working in this field.
Yeah.
What does this mean for them?
It's a big question a lot of people are asking. Like, what does the rise of AI actually mean for the future of work in the nonprofit sector?
Right. Will robots replace human compassion? Are we going to lose those heartwarming stories of, human connection?
It's a valid concern, but it's important to remember that AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. The goal isn't to replace humans, it's to enhance what we can do.
So it's about AI and humans working together, not against each other.
Exactly. Think of it as a collaboration. AI can handle those repetitive tasks, the data stuff. And that frees us up to focus on what humans do best, like building relationships, giving emotional support, and coming up with those creative solutions to really complicated problems.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about using technology to actually empower people, to be even more compassionate and effective in their work.
Exactly. And as AI gets, more advanced, we're going to see new jobs popping up in the nonprofit world. We'll need people who can design these AI systems, implement them, manage them, and do it ethically. And we'll need people who can work alongside AI, using it to make their own skills and expertise even stronger.
The whole new way of thinking about work.
Yes.
And not just in the nonprofit world, I think.
Yeah.
But as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on one last thing.
Sure.
If AI can help nonprofits be more efficient, more impactful, could it lead to a future where smaller grassroots organizations can compete more effectively, with the big established institutions? Could AI actually, like, level the playing field in the nonprofit sector?
That's a really interesting question. And honestly, it probably deserves a whole deep dive of its own.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible that AI could help smaller nonprofits do a lot more with what they have, give them access to the tools and resources that they couldn't afford before.
It's an intriguing thought. Imagine a world where passion and innovation, combined with the power of AI, can really make a difference,
Yeah.
regardless of an organization's size or budget.
It's a future worth working towards, where technology helps those who are dedicated to making the world a better place. And it seems we've reached the end of this part of our deep dive.
Yeah, it really feels like we're at the beginning of like a whole new chapter for nonprofits.
It is exciting to think about what could be possible.
It is. And
Yeah.
it's important to remember this isn't just about like tech for tech's sake, right?
Right.
It's about using these tools to help nonprofits do even more of the amazing work they're already doing.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes all of this so interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
It's not just algorithms and data, it's about human connection and, empathy that drive to actually make a difference.
I completely agree. You've given us so much to think about today. As we wrap up our deep dive into AI and nonprofits, is there like one key takeaway you hope our listeners will remember?
Hmm. I think the most important thing to remember is that AI is a tool. It's not a magic solution. It's up to us to use it wisely and ethically. And we always have to understand both what it can do and what it can't.
That's a great point. Well, to our listener, thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of AI for good. We hope this deep dive has made you curious and inspired you to think about how technology can be used to create a better future for everyone. Thanks for listening.